All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith for our very special pre-Christmas show. Merry Christmas to everybody out there on this show. We say Merry Christmas. And Carter, how we doing, man?
Doing great, man. I'm excited. Got some Christmas shopping done today. I don't know about you. I'm terrible about this. I'm a last minute guy. I've been putting it off, and then I order some stuff on Amazon here and there or whatever, But today went out and got a bulk of my shopping done. I still got some stuff to go out and get tomorrow. So, but it's Christmas time, man. It's exciting, and so really pumped up for the week. Probably do a show today. We'll see. Maybe a show tomorrow. Probably take Christmas Day off, and then the rest of the week kind of roll as normal. But what about you, man? You got anything teed up, ready to go? I mean, obviously, you got your son is probably pumped up.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of we got to make the reindeer food. We got to get all of that fun stuff going, and then we have the elf.
Oh yeah, the elf on the shelf.
Elf on the shelf.
Yeah.
We've been having that madness. Other than that, it's going to be a very Merry Christmas for my son. It's one of those things that it's every year. Of course, the camera goes out, but
of course it does. So what has your elf done? Like I got. Oh no, he's out. But anybody out there listening, what are your guys' elves doing? I got 3 of these things right now because I got 3 kids. So I got 3 elves to move every night. And any kids listening, I'm kidding. I don't move them. Obviously, they're magical. They move themselves. But what are your elves doing? I had some good stuff. My elves went live on YouTube and produced a show and talked to Santa through the YouTube machine, and the kids thought that was hilarious. But I'm running out of ideas. We got a couple days left, and I have my kids this entire week, so I'm the last leg, right? I gotta do it big here. So tonight I haven't moved them yet, so I'll have to move them after the show and think something up. So hit it up in the YouTube comments if you got any good ideas. I'm cool with making a mess. So if there's something that makes a mess, it's whatever. But you got all that going on. We'll wait for Duke to get back here, but I'll go ahead and tease it. Everybody out there listening, first of all, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, like us on Twitter, all that stuff. But Duke, what is your elf doing? You only got the one. I got 3 elves I gotta play with every night.
The elf is relatively good. We haven't had any major disputes, into the marshmallows, into the kinetic sand, all of that, into the slime.
Okay. Yeah, my kids' elves. One of the first things they did was they broke out all the podcast equipment, and they went live on YouTube, and the kids thought that was hilarious. But other than that, they've done some relatively tame things. But I'm thinking that I was saying I have my kids this entire week. Obviously, tonight, tomorrow night are the only 2 nights the elves are here. Right? They go back to the North Pole after that. But I think I'm gonna have to do something big. I don't know what yet, but I'm gonna have to do something and probably make a mess or do something crazy for the last night.
Well, you never know. The elf could always, mess up some smoking gear that has to do with the grill.
Yeah, maybe they'll smoke a brisket or something. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Or brine a turkey.
Yeah. But anyways, it's a happy holidays, Merry Christmas from us here at the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Other than that, we got. Sorry, I just got a text. It's interesting text. We'll talk about it off air. But there is a lot going on in college football. Obviously, Notre Dame went out, took care of business. This is the first time I've been on since that happened. So we're going to talk about that. Gut reactions. What'd you think when you saw that, just that environment, that everything that went into that? Notre Dame went and put a beat down on them.
Are we just going to go through all the games, in order?
We will, but I just want to get a gut reaction, and then we'll jump into social media and everything like that, and then we'll get back to college football.
I think that it's everything that we said it was going to be. Jeremiah Love, Jadadeon Price, Price and Love, and Riley Leonard were the X factors. Notre Dame showed up on defense.
As they have all year. I mean, that's just what they do, I guess.
Yeah, and I just thought that, it was whoever ran the ball best, whoever, took care of the football, valued the possessions, cashed in their possessions, didn't turn it over, was gonna win the game. So I don't think we've seen anything that was out of character. I think it was pretty much everything we thought it was going to be. Nothing really shocking, other than maybe Indiana crumbling a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. And, and we had talked off air about this, and this is something that, I think that, we knew this was going to happen as soon as Notre Dame beat Indiana. Well, Indiana's no good. Indiana's no good. And all of us, but see, because, whenever we had the disagreement about Indiana a couple weeks ago, and that's when I said, and I would ask the fundamental question, is Indiana a good football team? And nobody could, and you answered yes, but I said from the national narrative, it was going to be, well, Indiana's not any good and they didn't deserve to be in the playoff. That's what happens with the super conferences. This is a prime example of it. When your conferences are so big, these teams don't play each other.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we'll get into and dive into more of the game and everything like that and what's next for Notre Dame towards the end of the show today. But I do want to say I was so blown away by specifically Kirk Herbstreit's reaction to Indiana and the way he handled that. I thought it was terrible. I thought it's a bad look for ESPN. It's a bad look for Kirk Herbstreit to be out there to be like, oh, they just got outclassed. Yeah, they got beat. I mean, they got beat handily. Let's call a spade a spade. Notre Dame took care of business, went out, and they walked them up and down the field for the most part. But let's not act like Indiana did nothing to get there. Carrying the water for the SEC has been Kirk Herbstreit's main objective this entire postseason, and it's getting almost downright unwatchable. I mean, and we'll get into the Tennessee game because where are you now? Why aren't you talking about Tennessee shouldn't have been there?
Oh, yeah, and that's something that I totally agree with you on. Tennessee did not. It was
Lane Kiffin was tweeting up a damn storm, and he's awfully quiet now.
I think that there was warning flags. I went and did yesterday or last night. I went and did a dive on the Tennessee thing, and the way that they got beat, I'm not really.
No, I'm not shocked, and we'll get into that as well. But
also, Ryan Day got out of his own way.
Hey,
Ryan Day got out of his own way.
Cocoina Ryan Day, the Adderall Ryan Day showed up. It was nice. It was good to see.
He got out of his own way, but let's stay on script before we get to that.
Yeah, let's jump into some social media stuff, and I gotta ask you a question, and I'll put it up here on the screen. But I saw this today, and I mean I knew that Auburn was doing well in recruiting, but is Alabama in trouble? Because the top 10 kids in the state of Alabama, none of them went to Alabama. Not a single one. 2 of them went out of state. And obviously, Naheem Offord was between Ohio State and Oregon, went to Oregon. Zion Grady went to Ohio State. The other 8 went to Auburn. Is Auburn building something? And should Bama fans be concerned with what Kalen DeBoer is doing or not doing at Alabama right now.
You got to think what's going on right now, and we'll have to have an off-air discussion about this. Side note this. Hugh Freeze has he's developed longer relationships with this group of kids because he's probably been recruiting them all of 3 years. And I think it's easier for Hugh to have a lasting relationship in the recruiting, and then you get Kalen DeBoer that comes in, you don't know him, and it's hard to kind of jump into it at the last minute. And I think there's a lot of people around the Alabama program that want to wait and see what this is. And I can tell you they're not happy about not making the playoffs. And we're not going to debate whether they should have been in or not. The
answer is no. Everybody knows
that. And I think you shouldn't lose 3 times. But also, I think on the other side of the coin is that a lot of people need to see what is going on, what's the trajectory of the program. Losing to Vandy does not help. I think if Kalen DeBoer does not make the playoff next year, it's gonna be rough stuff. And also Hugh Freeze is a hell of a recruiter. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on him. They say Hugh Freeze sucks, blah 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 blah. It is what it is. But that graphic right there tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, no, he can recruit. Now, in his days at Ole Miss, it might not have been exactly kosher recruiting, but he recruited well.
Well,
nowadays it's all legal.
It's all legal. I mean, you can call it what you want. Now, I think that some of the people trolling Tennessee fans by saying McDonald's bags of cash, it's like, okay, well, that's legal now. That's fully legal. So, I mean, I get it. Tennessee hasn't won anything since 1998, but whatever.
No, they haven't. But that's a problem. And we got ZD in the house. What's up, ZD? I think I'm gonna hang out with ZD on New Year's Day and go ahead and watch the shellacking. And I'll let you decide what game that'll be. But in other news, outside of that, so did you see? I saw this come up, and obviously Darian Mensah was one of the top quarterbacks in the portal, and he went to Duke, which I thought was an interesting place for him to go. Did you see his NIL deal?
That's right, ZD.
Let's go. But did you see this? $8 million over 2 years for the Tulane transfer.
Okay. Without mentioning any names, remember that deal that we were talking about off air?
Yep.
Does that now seem more realistic if this deal is?
Yeah, and that has something to do with the text I got when we first started. But yeah, no, I now it seems realistic. Apparently, quarterbacks are going for $3.5-4 million, and that's not absurd. But like, I know this guy's good. Don't get me wrong, but you mean to tell me, first of all, Duke has $8 million to give him, and second of all, development does mean something, and I think that's getting lost in all this transfer portal stuff. And second of all, if Duke offered him $8 million, don't you think there was another program out there that was maybe more in line with like winning that could have offered him 11?
Well,
or was the market not there?
I don't think the market was there for him. And
I mean, that's a number one transfer portal quarterback.
But you also have to remember the academic requirements to get into Duke. Tulane and Duke are pretty much on the same plane academically. Like Duke, Wake Forest, these academic schools their pool of kids is shrunk in half. I'm just saying what we're doing here is, in order to pluck a kid like from Vandy or to take him to, these are some of the top academic institutions in the land, Stanford, what's another one? Cal,
Yeah.
The top flight academic, Notre Dame, the top flight academic. They just can't take anybody's transcript. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's true. That's still crazy to me. ZD wants names. Bro, you got my number. I can't say what I was just told on air yet, but I promise you, once I can, I will. We don't hide. Like we were at the forefront of Deuce Night flipping. We knew that was going to happen, and we said it when we could. But of all that, I think it's just crazy the money right now, and it's absolutely. I mean, that kid is never going to win a damn thing, and he just got $4 million a year. Like he's never going to win a goddamn thing.
I don't know. Like the ACC.
What's he going to win? The ACC?
Yeah.
Cool, dude. That's a first round exit. That's Clemson. They just did it.
Well.
Or are you now flipping and now you think that those schools are good?
No, I'm just saying what the Clemson thing is, I think Clemson played one of the more competitive games.
They played the most competitive game, yes. I mean, it doesn't mean they didn't get kind of shit on, but
I think that Clemson played a more compelling game than what SMU did. I mean, that was
yeah, that was embarrassing. And we'll get to both those games.
But I did see a stat the other day about, the playoff games and blowouts and things like that.
Yeah, it's not a new phenomenon.
And I think people set the expectation bar too high on how good they thought these games were going to be.
Yeah, it's not new. Like most playoff games, first round were blowouts in the 4-team.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new. It's you have an upper echelon, and then you're putting other teams into it, and it doesn't always work. But before we get into recapping it and talking about, ZD is ready for us to talk about Jeremiah Smith. And trust me, we will. That dude is different.
Yeah.
But speaking of another wide receiver, maybe, or corner, bro, what is Travis Hunter doing?
Here's my take. My take on this is,
like, that's his girl. That's your girl.
And
I won't put up the pictures and the videos that have been posted of her because I'm a self-respecting man. But if that's my girl, not my girl anymore.
Here's my thing on this Travis Hunter business. There's his side, her side, and then the truth. I don't know what exactly is going on.
That's the number one thing. I don't care if you're hitting it. Just don't hit it raw.
I feel like, ever since I feel like this is kind of bullshit in a way, the way the media is doing it, because he just won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, and she was a massive C word.
And I just, I'm not for ignoring things in the media, but at the end of the day, we have to remember that these are people, and if they're having a very public relationship, like, since when did college football reporting turn into TMZ?
As soon as the money turned on.
Yeah, it just, for me, I bet I cannot wait until the draft starts. So this story completely, like, there's a different, like, let's hear what Travis runs at the combine. Let's, broad jump numbers. 3
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's what, and this is just, there's a video out there, and I didn't pull it because I'm not trying to get involved, or I'm not trying to put us out there like that. But there's a video out there, obviously, of her. Now, there's conflicting timelines on when they started dating, when they were, whatever. Anyways, I don't care about any of that. A thought's a thought, a thought, a thought. Like, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, trust me. But if the videos are her, which they are, it's proven, bro, that's not your girl. Like, that, she's for the streets. Let her go. You got bigger and better things you can do with your life. And Jeremiah Smith said it in a video that I just saw, where he said, like, he was talking about distractions, and he's like, yeah, that one's a big one. And then he's like, and then females, bro. Females, like, that's the biggest distraction that can happen to your career. I'm not about it. And Jeremiah Smith at 17 years old is saying this. It's like, at least somebody had the forethought to tell him that. Now, where are the people that are in Travis's life, his dad, Prime, anybody, to be like, yo, like, I know you love her, but sometimes you gotta put it down and be like, hey, I gotta go do me, and just do what you gotta do. And I'm just saying, ask Antonio Cromartie, ask Tyreek Hill, ask any of these big athletes that have a bunch of kids by a bunch of different women that maybe they thought they were in love with or whatever. Ask them how much they pay in child support, because I promise you it ain't worth it. There is no coochie in the world worth it.
Well, I don't. There's a lot of conflicting reports and a lot of but you know how the shit is in the media. And I mean, you've dealt with some of that stuff too. That,
yeah, I get it. I get it. But
some bullshit website decides to pay to get on the top search on Google, and they write a totally fictitious story. And I think that, I just kind of.
Yeah, well, my thing is, none of that, like, bro, all I'm saying is you better know what you've got, because trust me, you don't. And there's been numerous people over the course of history and that have thought, like, oh, this girl, ride or die, like, never, and then flips like that. And if there's any hesitation, or if there's any, like, evidence to the contrary, believe it and get out.
Well, I think it'll be definitely something that plays out. I feel bad for the kid. Some of the stories, are they true or are they not? It's just, the guy just,
fair to him.
It's not. And the guy just won the freaking Heisman Trophy. And it's just the fact of, hopefully he makes the right decision, the best decision for him. Hopefully he has the right people around him to help him make that best decision. Because I want to see Travis Hunter succeed. I think it'd be, as long as it's conducive and it doesn't affect his play too much. I want to see a guy play both ways in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
To see if it can be done, and I want, that's something that, a lot of people are down on Deion Sanders, but I think one of the things that Deion does, better than most is preach a positive message to the kids going forward. And I think he's more straight up than some of these coaches that Deion says, "Hey, it's portal day. You're either going to be here or you're not." And you know what? I thought it was. I think is Nakai Hill Green, the linebacker that they got in the portal, had a great year, and he went to another. He's moving on to another school, and you know what? Deion asked him about it. He said, "You know what? I shook his hand and said I understand," and he kept on going.
Yep.
I don't, and for the fans to be freaking out, I think you should thank the kid. He moved on to his next opportunity.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
And I don't begrudge some of these kids that hop in the portal that, go to an Ohio State that are at a Mountain West school or at a Conference USA school. And, let's say, Rich Rod takes some kids from Jacksonville State. They're maximizing their opportunity, in my opinion.
100%. And like Kirk Signetti took all those kids from JMU. Like, bro, those kids didn't have the same opportunity at JMU that they do at Indiana. They're just maximizing their potential.
And we're not saying that JMU is a bad program by any means.
No, it just has different. It's just different.
It's a different level. And so, one thing that we should do here real quick is reset the show.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
If you're watching out there on Twitter, not the biggest audience tonight, but if you're watching out there, if you yeah, we did go late. If you're watching out there on Twitter, normally we go at 7:30, but the holidays in the middle of the week has changed things for everybody. But if you could hit that like and subscribe button, come on over to YouTube. We got ZD in the chat tonight, and we'll probably have some other guys show up too, but we'll be answering some questions. We're going to be going a little later. I don't have to work tonight, so we got as much time as we need tonight. But yeah, hit that like and subscribe button, and help us out to grow the show. We're on the road to 500. We're trying to get there every milestone. Hopefully you guys can help us get there. But what do you got next, Carter?
Yeah, so obviously Penn State went out and took care of business, and they didn't need him. But Bo Pribula, the backup quarterback from Penn State, hit the transfer portal. We talked about it last week. He is going elsewhere, and he commits to Mizzou.
What's
up, Joe? But he commits to Missouri, and did you see how much he got paid? This is a backup quarterback that has really never played outside of playing some Wildcat packages and stuff like that. But dude got $1.5 million to go to Missouri, and he's unproven. Like, the market right now is so insane.
I think that's your market. But remember, now let's hop in the Wayback Machine. Right when we were starting the show off, remember when we covered that Missouri got that blind $60 million NIL donation?
Yeah.
So Missouri's got money.
I understand that, but you don't have to spend it frivolously. Like, this kid got $1.5 million. Will Howard, who was a proven starter at Kansas State, got brought in to be the starter at Ohio State. I mean, he had to compete for the job, but he got $1 million last year. You mean to tell me that we've gone from $1 million for one of the top quarterbacks? Cam Ward only got $1 million, $1.5 million maybe. Like, you're talking about that the market of this has gone from $1 million for a proven starter to $1.5 million for a backup who never showed anything.
Joe wants to know who this is. This is Bo Pribula.
Yeah.
He was the
backup at Penn State.
Yeah. He got $1.5 million. It's nuts.
That's insane.
But Jackson Arnold was like the 16th best passer in the SEC. He was ranked in the bottom 5, and he got $3 million or 2.5. But
at least he had started a game. Like,
yeah.
Pribula, Bo Pribula.
And I don't disagree with some of these numbers, but this is
absolutely insane.
This is what happens when you're going to introduce, the rev share plus the collective money. I think that it's pretty much a lock. No problem, Joe. No problem. It's just a lock that they're going to, they're exactly. Joe says he's never heard of him.
Yeah, most people haven't, unless you follow Big Ten football very closely or recruiting very closely. Like, decently highly touted recruit coming out of high school. But he was a backup. He backed up Drew Aller this year. He came in and he played a Wildcat package because he was a better runner than Drew, but ultimately has never really played. Let's keep it cultural.
I don't disagree.
That would be awesome. I'd love to get paid a lot more for doing a lot less, but
well, I think that some of these numbers that are popping out, Carter, are just unbelievable. And the one thing that we've talked about off screen, that if that comes out, it's gonna break the internet.
Oh, I know. Yeah. But in other news, we'll move on here. We're at 30 minutes here, so we'll get into some of the recaps here in a minute. But Carson Beck, the starting quarterback for your Georgia Bulldogs, because Duke, they're one of two teams you have left in the playoff before I have to just get really brutal on you. And I hate to do it, but if they don't make it out of this next round, the SEC, you're going to get a lot. But Carson Beck undergoes surgery. Yeah, I have that in the notes here. They did. They got Malachi Fields out of I had it. West Virginia? I don't remember. But good receiver. Big time get for Notre Dame. And that's coming from the Penn State guy, too. So I like it. Follow it. But Carson Beck undergoes arm surgery, officially done for the year. What does that mean for Georgia going through the playoffs?
No Beck. I don't know if this enhances her chances to win.
Virginia, that's what it is.
Oh, that's what I was trying to.
I said West. I added a West.
I don't know if this enhances or hurts their chances because Carson Beck was
mediocre at best.
I don't know. Like, it seemed like he was distracted this year. And also,
Cavender twins will do that to you.
I think that
I'd be distracted as hell.
I don't think
I had a Cavender twin on my arm.
I don't think he's back at Georgia, and I don't think he goes in the draft.
So I think he hits the portal. Well, I don't know. He might be welcome back at Georgia. It'll depend on how Gunner does. If Gunner goes out and balls out, then yeah, then he definitely could take the job, and then Carson Beck's gonna have to find a new home. But if Gunner goes out and has a bad game against Notre Dame, they lose to Notre Dame, then I think they welcome Beck back, right?
I don't know. I think that there are on this Penn State guy, no, we don't. I haven't really dug into the numbers to see if there's any inkling on what he got.
Yeah, I haven't seen any numbers, and that's one thing with Notre Dame because they are a private institution. A lot of their NIL numbers and things like that are harder to get. I have not seen an NIL number on it.
But they got Riley and the Shields guys. Seems like they are doing the right things to cultivate a NIL collective and get things heading in the right direction. For Notre Dame was a little bit behind than what
less than 6 mil. Yeah, I would guess.
It just what they were thinking. I know a guy, but yeah. So I think that's a really huge get for Notre Dame to try to build the wide receiver room up. It's going to be a very interesting offseason, I think, to say the least, in Notre Dame land. Just by watching Here Come the Irish, which if you haven't watched that on Peacock yet, I don't know what you're doing. You got to check it out. At least if you're not even if you're not even a Notre Dame fan, doesn't have the somewhat corny Notre Dame-y stuff, but yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But it gives you a different look at college football. I mean, they're doing the SEC things. It's got a different feel to it.
Than Hard
Knocks.
that's how everything Notre Dame does. Is it just has a different feel to it, and that's what, like, I'll go down this rabbit hole for a second, and then we'll get back. We'll break down the games, but that's the one thing. Like, as being somebody who's a passionate Notre Dame fan and has been to Notre Dame numerous times throughout my life, and people that have never been to campus for a game, they always ask me, like, "What's it like?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know how to describe it. It has such a different feel. Like, I've been to the biggest environments in college football, the most crazy places you get. Like, name a place, I've probably been there, and Notre Dame is as good, if not better than all of them, but in such a different way. And it's just because that's how Notre Dame is. It's such a different environment, such a different feel to everything they do. And the Here Come the Irish is no different. It just is different. And I can't completely, like, put my finger on what makes it different. Like, is it the pageantry, the history? Yeah, kind of. Is it the, like, the religion? A little bit, but like it's not like the religion stuff down your throat, but it's like you go rub Newt Rockney's nose, you go light a candle at the grotto. I'm not Catholic. I do that shit because it's fucking awesome, and it's just incredible.
Can we also all get on one page here? The moving of Rockney's body still bothers me. I know it does. I'm just curious on what they dug up or what it was. Like, did they
was probably a fucking box that was half eaten that they just moved? Like, I don't know.
Like, because
I don't know, man, but let them live or let them not live, I guess. But anyways,
it's just a question. And
yeah,
and I think one thing that they did when Notre Dame redid the stadium, instead of tearing down, they built up around the stadium.
Yeah.
And there's still the old stadium there. And like,
what they've done with Notre Dame Stadium is awesome. It is one of my favorite venues in college football.
And
it's one of the smallest I've been to.
And I would argue, I think the history that's at Notre Dame is equivalent to the Big House, the Horseshoe.
Oh my God, it's I would argue it's far beyond that, and it's like not even success on the field. It's just like the history and there's just a different vibe when you're on stage, when you're on campus, man. It's just the cathedral, the basilica, the touchdown Jesus, Newt Rockney's nose, like all of it. Like, yeah, the grotto. It's one of the coolest places I've ever been. And you take people there, and it's like, I don't know how to explain this. And like, so the best example I can give you is my ex-wife grew up in Maryland and Ohio, families from Western Pennsylvania, like huge, like lives in that realm, was never a Notre Dame fan. The first time I took her to Notre Dame, she immediately got it. And she was just like, oh, this is different. And I was like, yeah, exactly. It's different. And was a huge Notre Dame fan. We're not together anymore. Maybe she's not anymore, but I believe she probably is, because like once you go there, it's hard not to be a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah.
The walk, everything, dude. They did everything they do is just perfect. And there's nothing like, and that's why when people are like, oh, tradition, blah, it's like, no, you don't understand tradition. Like, every school has tradition, and like I've been a part of some of the biggest of them. Like I've been through the skull session. I've been through Ohio State's traditions. I've been through Michigan's traditions. I've been through Florida's traditions. Like, and they're all cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, Mr. Two Bits, before he passed at Florida, was one of the coolest things in all of college football. But it's different. Like, you just don't understand it unless you've been there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, the one thing that is consistent is things really don't change at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Like, there's slight changes, like from Urban to Ryan. But like, from Tressel to Urban, there was changes, fundamental changes. So I think that, the Notre Dame not the Notre Dame thing. I think that Notre Dame has a mystique, it has an aura, because like for me, whenever I go to campus and like going for a game, it just feels different. It's not like going to the shoe is cool, but it's not going to Notre Dame. Like you see touchdown Jesus, you see the Golden Dome. It's different. It is different. And some people don't get it, and there's some people that, and my uncle complained. You know what his biggest complaint about Friday was?
What?
Notre Dame played on Friday. We don't play on Friday.
Of course,
and I'm just like, that is the ascot wearing uncle that I have that would complain about something like that.
Right.
It's just like, okay, you have the marquee game, you're kicking off the college football playoff, the first playoff game in Notre Dame history, and you're going to complain because it's on Friday night in December.
Well, it is what it is, but yeah, it's a cool environment. But let's jump into let's reset the show first. Let's do that, and then let's jump into the playoff games from this weekend, and then we'll talk a little Notre Dame and what's going on with the program and everything like that.
Yeah, so if you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. We got a ton of people in the chat tonight asking questions. We're going to get to that. We got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but hit the like and subscribe button. We are trying to grow this thing to 500. That is the goal by the end of the year. I believe that's a realistic goal. Well, that's what we're trying to get to. But like and subscribe. Normally we are Monday through Friday, 7:30. Me, Carter, and Richie. Sometimes you get all three. Sometimes you get the mix and match of us. But we're trying to make it work and keep the show growing. We're doing this for the fans because we purely love college football. And I just don't know how you don't like college football. But, sometimes people aren't into it. But hit that like and subscribe and help us grow this thing. So what do you got, Carter?
Yeah, before we jump in here, ZD said he's keeping receipts when Notre Dame beats Georgia. I love this because this is the same dude that was saying he's going to be wearing red rooting for Indiana. He loves to talk some smack. Also, your uncle would have liked that game to be played at 2:30 on Saturday. I agree. The 2:30 kick on Saturday is a Notre Dame special. But let's get into the playoff games from this weekend. Obviously, Notre Dame, we've talked a little bit about it. Everything Notre Dame has done at the stadium is incredible. And they're the only school in the Midwest that does it like an SEC game. Ohio State tries to, or is trying to, and did a better job this weekend. But we'll keep Notre Dame for the last. So let's start with Penn State SMU, the noon kick. I mean, did you even watch?
Oh, I watched it because it was because I was just sitting there thinking, is this good for college football? Because the Drew Aller, I know ties to the old Brad Mandler, but Drew Aller lighting the world on fire with 13 of 22 for 127.
Bro, the thing is, he didn't have to. Like, he wasn't asked to do anything because Kevin Jennings was too busy giving them touchdown after touchdown that Drew Aller was like, I don't know, hand it off 75 times. Why not? That game was, I think we all thought that it was coming. I know I'll own it. I picked SMU just for fun. I didn't actually believe SMU could win, but I was hopeful that they would be better than that. Jesus. It was terrible. It was terrible football.
It was, I think, yes, I agree with the Penn State guy here. I just think based off pure offense, defensive line, that SMU was outmatched. Abdul Carter is a complete game wrecker in they just didn't have an answer for him. And I know Rhett Lashley was calling the plays, but also since you weren't chipping on Abdul Carter and he was completely wrecking your game plan and you refused to address the problem, you deserve to lose like that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the game plan was terrible. Really everything about the game was terrible. It was what I feared. And we're not going to get into it tonight because A, we're already 45 minutes in. B, we've had this discussion at nauseum. SMU earned the right to be there, but that's not the same. I mean, that they play a different level of football than what they were matched up against Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, I also think part of the problem, Penn State guy, is I think you guys lack a level of talent at wide receiver. And I haven't watched Penn State as much as a lot of teams, so don't get me wrong. But he doesn't have a lot of guys to throw to. And I think Drew Aller's a really good quarterback, and I think another year in the system is going to do him a lot of good. You guys got to get some better talent in there at the wide receiver position. It is what it is. But I agree that probably has happened where he hasn't hit the wide open guy. I don't know. I haven't watched them that closely. Other than the Ohio State game, I really haven't watched them.
Also, in a deep cut, Ethan Grunkemeyer got in. Chris Drew deep cut.
A little Grunk action. But that game was terrible. It was exactly what I thought happened. And to be honest with you, I think the same thing happens again on whenever they play Boise State. I think Penn State got handed the easiest path to the Final Four, and they're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Penn State is going to wreck Boise State because I don't think Boise's got the guys up front to hang with Penn State, but we'll see.
No. Yeah. And then after that, you had the Clemson-Texas game, which I was promised an Arch Manning takeover, and it never happened.
Yeah, that was really weird because Quinn went 17 of 24 for 202 yards. But
he wasn't great, but he was serviceable.
I mean,
but he was playing a really subpar team. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I don't think, and I know we gave credit to Dabo for being Dabo and for the experience he has in the college football playoff and kind of what he's built over the years. But at the end of the day, that Clemson team only was in the playoff because they accidentally upset SMU. Or beat SMU, I guess.
I thought Clemson really struggled fitting the run, and then they couldn't run the ball. They had no running back. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but Texas could get after them. But I thought Cade Klubnik played really well.
Yeah, I thought he did. I thought he played well. At the end of the day, I just think Clemson was overmatched. I think Texas is still a very talented team with a lot of really good dudes on their roster. That blue kid is a great running back, and I mean, if Texas was healthy at running back, I think they would be one of the best running teams in the country.
Do you know Texas lost their first and second string running backs coming into the year?
Yes, yeah. I think that's what it came down to. I mean, that Clemson team just wasn't good enough to be in contention with a real playoff team. That's all it was.
TJ, I think Clemson was an incomplete team. Also, do you know who led Clemson in tackles?
No, who?
The guy we talked about that I told you about was a baller.
Yeah.
Sammy Brown, freshman.
Oh, yeah.
I told you that kid's different. That kid is different. But yeah, I mean, it was an overall. Clemson they were a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest for the most part.
Yeah.
Completely overmatched. Just don't see it, but I think it's good on Dabo to get back.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's good. It was good for them to make it. Obviously, they weren't up to par, but it is what it is. And then oh, go ahead.
And then I just wanted to get to it. We have, yeah, I agree with you there, Michael. I think that we'll get to the topic du jour. Ryan Day. See, that's what I like. See, Joe likes Dabo.
I don't like Dabo. I respect what he's accomplished. There's a difference. I really don't like Dabo, but he's good at what he does.
I think that if he wasn't so cornball, I think he would be okay.
Yeah, but he's starting to get with the times. Like he took a transfer that wasn't a quarterback. Like he's would come around. I got you. He's not dead in the water.
What do you think going forward? I think Clemson will be ranked high next year because Klubnik's going to come back, and I think
they will be.
And I think he'll take a eat it too, Ryan Day. I know.
Tell him, ZD.
Ryan Day
we're gonna get there.
Well, let's go ahead and dive in.
There.
Ryan Day got out of his own way. Just like the SEC in the shoe.
No. You can't just say it with that level of just like, man, Ryan Day got out of his own way.
He did.
Motherfucker. No. No.
He did. He got out of his own way.
If you're gonna be a hater, if you're gonna call him out when he does poorly, you gotta give him the respect he deserves when he does well. And
I think he totally
he went out and he laid his nuts on the table and he said, "I'm here, bitch."
I think that,
and I heard about Neyland North. I heard about the goalposts going into the Olentangy River. They're planting the flag at midfield. I heard about all of it from all the SEC homers, all the Tennessee fans that came out and wanted to say a bunch of shit about Ryan Day and about Ohio State. I heard it all. And you know what they did? They came out and they came out and they punched him in the fucking throat right at the start of the game and said, "Listen, bitch, this is different."
I think that, it was a different and going into the game, like when me and Richie went on Saturday, I just simply said, I don't know what team is going to show up.
No, you never know. And but that's, you can say that for a lot of the, like, what Notre Dame, is it going to be Northern Illinois Notre Dame, or is it going to be the Notre Dame we've seen for the past 8 weeks? Who knows? But here, all I would tell you is that I want a little bit of respect. I'm not even like an Ohio State fan, but I follow the program enough, and I'm sick of hearing some of the bullshit that I've heard, and just put a little bit of respect on what they just accomplished. It was they won 42-17. Bitch, that could have been 63-3. Like, they are lucky it was only 25 points. The only reason it was is because of some bullshit garbage times points, and Ryan Day was nice enough in a playoff game to take his starters out and to play Devin Brown, who's on his way out, and Julian Sand, who goddamn looks like he can't throw a football. And he was nice enough to go out there and do that. That was being generous to Josh Heupel and Tennessee. Come out here with your shirts off in pregame, acting tough. Bitch, I don't care about you walking out here shirtless in 20-degree weather. Show me you're tough on the field. Y'all look like a bunch of bitches on the field.
One of the bigger concerning things that I was concerned with was the Tennessee looked completely lost on offense. Like, they didn't know, like it looked like they were just learning the scheme.
And you know why? It's because their offense was, and we talked about it before the game. If Ohio State could come out and shut down the run and force Nico to beat them in the pass game, it was going to be a long day for Tennessee because that's not what they're good at. Nico's good. Don't get me wrong. I have so much respect for Nico after what he did Saturday. He got his ass kicked, and he went out play after play and kept fighting.
That's one thing. That's one thing I will say. I'll give Nico a ton of credit. He didn't back down from Ohio State at all. No. I don't think he. And some people say, "Oh, well, we hit him and he quit." I don't think he quit. No, I just think he didn't quit. He just got his ass kicked.
He just. Well, here's the thing. Do you know they only blitzed? I think it was 6 times. They didn't have to blitz to bring pressure. That defensive front, Larry Johnson deserves a thank you. Larry Johnson deserves a I'm sorry, because that defensive front went out there and manhandled that offensive line by Tennessee in the run game and the pass.
And here's the other thing. I think, the Ohio State fan base has got to freaking chill out.
I think they're going to chill now.
On Larry Johnson, on Justin Fry.
Oh, I mean, we ain't even got to that yet, but yeah.
And I'm just saying, Henderson 10 carries, 80 yards. Quinshawn didn't have as many, but they scored 28 points just by the 2 running backs. I just think that it's not the fact of the matter. What we have here is you can talk all the recruiting stuff. We only do recruiting in the off season. Like, we talk about it, but I don't understand what is so wrong with the process of what has gone on in the offensive line room. But he just had a Remington Award winner. Like, what the hell are we doing?
He's got a Remington. He's got a first rounder in Josh Simmons. Donovan Jackson's going to be probably a first or second rounder. Like, he's got dudes. And on top of that, he's lost 3 starting linemen in the year, and he went out, and Tennessee's defensive line is better than Michigan's this year. The interior is a little worse because they don't have Mason Graham and whatever. But do you see what that offensive line looked like when you put a competent game plan in place?
Well, and not to mention, this was something that I talked to Zach about on Sunday. I said, for 2 teams here, nobody has talked about Notre Dame losing. How many offensive line did they lose? They lose like 3. Ohio State's lost 3. I mean, beginning of the season or at the middle to the end of the season, it's a war of attrition, and the offensive line depth in recruiting has shown at both programs because, Ohio State ran it for 33 for 156. It's not crazy to me that maybe these guys have good offensive line coaches. And, we were critical at the beginning of the year about the offensive line depth. We didn't know if these guys could play or not. And I don't think that's not an unfair question to ask, but they have gone out and shown that they have substantial depth at offensive line. And if you want to play in the NFL, you're going to want to go to Notre Dame. You're going to want to go to Ohio State. And they're getting these guys, hand-selected guys, out of the portal that have already played college football. And they're not saying, we're bringing you here to be the starter. No, we're bringing you in to compete because this is competitive. Look at Carson Hinsman. Started 12 games last year. It took him until the playoffs to get on the field, pretty much.
Well, yeah, it took him until the playoffs and a bunch of injuries.
And they are replacing NFL players with NFL players at this point.
Exactly.
Notre Dame is the same way. We're not, and this was something I talked to Zach about. I said, is it crazy to believe that 2 teams that can run the shit out of the ball are looking the best in the college football playoff, which is Notre Dame and Ohio State, and I think they're on a collision course.
I hope so. And so here we go. Let's get into it. So we'll go ahead and we haven't gotten into it yet. So do you think Notre Dame can stop Georgia's run without Mills? I just joined. Sorry if you already talked about this. Yes, I do. And we'll get into why here in a minute or in a second. We're going to finish up. We're at about an hour right now. But Notre Dame went out and just, dominated, right? They took care of business in all facets. They did what they had to do to continue their season. And it's been a formula for Marcus. Good defense, run the ball, control the clock. Don't turn the ball over too many times. They had the one pick, but overall, Notre Dame did what exactly I said they were going to do. They went out and they dominated. And Coach Sig was talking a lot of shit on game day before the game, talking about how they don't just beat top 25 teams. They beat their shit. Like, they beat that shit out of them, right? Well, not this time, bub. But that sets us up for what we'll get into deeper at a later date. Obviously, we got some time, but that sets us up for Georgia Notre Dame. And I gotta be honest with you, I like this matchup. And obviously, the major news: Riley Mills is out for the year, knee injury. I don't know exactly what it is. Hopefully, it's not an ACL or something like that. But here's the thing that I know about Notre Dame's defense, and then Duke, you can hop in. Notre Dame's defense has faced this so many different times over the course of this year, where I feel like it's every 3 to 5 weeks they face another catastrophic injury, an injury that is somebody that's like, damn, how are they going to replace this dude, right? Like Benjamin Morrison, like the two defensive ends, like just it's nonstop. But at the end of the day, Notre Dame has recruited so well on defense, developed so well on defense. Your favorite guy, Al Golden, has done such a great job coaching this defense that I think they can replace Riley Mills. Now, is it going to be the same? Absolutely not. Riley Mills is a difference maker, has been the heartbeat of this defense. But I think they got another dude waiting that's ready to go. And so, yeah, I don't think Georgia's running game's that impressive, honestly.
And I think that, Georgia Tech ran the shit out of the ball on them, and I think Notre Dame's offensive line is just as good. I wouldn't be shocked if you see that inside zone concept that Georgia Tech runs, and
yeah,
I think
you definitely see some of that, and they run the ball.
I think I wouldn't be shocked, if you look at what Jeremiah Love did against Indiana, 108 yards on 8 carries.
98 of that on 1, but yeah. Hopefully, I understand the game was getting out of hand, and maybe that's why they held him back, because he was coming back from the injury in the USC game. Yeah. But I would like to see him used more, and like I said, I believe it's because they knew they didn't need him as much. So I think in the Georgia game, if he's needed, they're going to use him more. But I also want to just say, can we all just take a second and appreciate what this season has brought us? Because before the season, I said 11-1. Now, I didn't say their one loss should be to a MAC school, but I'll get past that. 11-1, playoff berth, win a playoff game. Those were the 3 things you had to do for this to be a successful season. They've done all 3. Now, we aren't playing with house money because I think they're so good. I think they're such a talented team that they should be able to go put up a fight, and I think they should be able to beat Georgia. But I just want to cheers. I want everybody out there, if you're drinking, great. If not, cheers me later. But let's get a cheers to what has been accomplished already this year and appreciate what's going on right now at Notre Dame. So
yeah, a lot of people counted Marcus out after Northern Illinois.
Yep. They wrote him off, but he ain't right back.
So we'll see what it has to do. I like the matchup. It's all going to depend upon if Notre Dame can hold Georgia in check. I think.
Dave's here.
Yeah, Dave's here. I think that we have a lot of things to address.
Yeah, and we'll talk about all of it. We got plenty of time.
we'll be able to dive into the analytics side of it. It's just
Oh, let's go. Let's go. If you think Texas's run offense is similar to Notre Dame's, got a different story coming for you, bro. But hey, I love it. I love it, Spiffy. Keep that energy and make sure you stick around. Make sure you stick around and come back to me after January 1st.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Hey, Joe, that they will all learn in good time, my friend. In good time.
Dogs 42.
Ain't nobody on this platform blocking anybody. No, it's all welcome. You can come in here and spew your shit, and we welcome it. We love it. But
so
just make sure you come back.
Difference of opinions. Williams and Walker will have 7 or 8 sacks.
That would be a first.
There we go. Michael says we're scoring 30. I
love it.
I'll be interested to see what I think this game will be low scoring because I think it's going to be a field position battle.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I'm gonna have to dive into it more than bro. Yeah, and I was a fucking 2-time All-State in high school. It doesn't make anything. Like I wasn't really, but like it's high school. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, Cam Newton said that.
Yeah, right. We don't care about what you did in high school, buddy.
And
this is a different level.
And then when you get to college, nobody cares what you did in high school. And then when you get to the NFL, nobody cares.
Nobody cares what you did in college. But
so
we'll get into it. But this is just a little teaser we wanted to get into. And I mean, I'm pumped up, man. I love it. I said the other thing I said before preseason, I said 11-1 playoff berth. I had to win a playoff game. And I specifically said you have to beat an SEC school. That's facts, actually. That's Indiana State champ right there. But I said we had to beat an SEC school. We didn't get that in the first round, but we got it in the second round. And we're going to go into New Orleans, and we're going to hey, what's the saying? It's we're going to take over your crib, make it our crib or something like that. I don't know. I don't keep up with it. I'm old. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about it. So stick with us. Everybody out there on YouTube, everything, like the episode, hit us up with a comment. I'm going to start asking questions or something. I guess my question right now, of the 8 teams that are left, who do you think has the best chance to win the college football playoff and win the national championship?
Judging by eye test, I would say
we got Dave with Ohio State. We got Penn State says OSU.
I lean Ohio State.
Richie said it's going to be Ohio State versus Notre Dame. He's got the Buckeyes. Yeah, I mean, after that performance last Saturday, I know that's going to be the popular pick. I don't disagree. I'm just as a Columbus guy. I'm born and raised. You're going to have to show me Ryan Day put it together for 4 games in a row because I don't know if we've seen it this year.
We'll see, but
yeah. If they don't fuck it up, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
OSU most talented if they doesn't fuck it up. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But I love it. Put it in the comments if you're watching this after the live. Who do you think is going to win it this year? There's 8 teams left. You've got obviously Texas and Arizona State, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Boise, Notre Dame, Georgia. Who's going to win it? Who you got? I'll make my pick later. I'm not putting it out there on the air yet.
Yeah, we'll do that later. I guess with that being said, you got anything else, Carter?
No, that's it, man. I appreciate everybody joining us on a little late night edition of the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. If you're out there on Twitter, come on over. YouTube's where it's at.
Yeah, come on over. We have a ton of people in the chat tonight. It'll be we'll be back to the regular scheduled time, 7:30. I believe maybe tomorrow.
With the holiday, things might be weird for the next couple of days, but
yeah,
I think Thursday, Friday, I'll probably be back to normal, and then next week will be normal, and we'll have tons of content for you next week, leading up to the kickoff Wednesday at 8:45.
Yep, we'll have all kinds of things coming up, and when it was. So I guess with that being said, if Carter ain't got nothing else, I ain't got nothing else. Hit the like and subscribe button and help us grow this thing. So appreciate everybody watching. And with that being said, everybody have a good night.